good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever you are in the universe, it is Real Talk with Kathy. So, in one of my posts, I had posted up some things that were going on in the last few months of my 40s. Now we're in a new decade. And I had made sure that I let everybody know that I will no longer be accepting anybody else's crap. I will not be a doormat or a punching bag, verbally or physically, for anyone. I will match energies. So therefore, my energies are now being matched. I'm going back to what I know, what I hold dear, and that is speaking out against things that need to be fixed. And one of them is domestic violence, the treatment of others, body shaming, and So let's get into it, shall we? So we know that my journey on social media started with 2020, and it gave me my very first PSA on TikTok was about insomnia and the fact that I couldn't sleep. So then my very first 3-part series was helping women defend themselves, and there was a reason for it. It was back in April. There was this whole thing going on about a date in April. So I proceeded to show them how to defend themselves should they be approached sexually by a man who is unwanted and unwelcome. So I did all these, and then, all the while I was staying in the shadows on the porch, so to speak. And over the course of this, now that was fall, into spring, into summer of last year, a year before, I had decided to, through the encouragement of some friends, come out of the shadows, so to speak, to get into the dating pool again. And the two that I had chosen, one showed up at my door the day of my court date with my narcissist abuser, and with intent to get it on, so to speak. Well, that one definitely got pushed aside. He took it as I tried to be as friendly as possible, and he took it and he brought it to social media. I felt a little embarrassed at first, and then it was like, well, no, I'm not going to be embarrassed by it because I did nothing wrong. But I'm not going to be silent about it. Should it happen, I can actually call him out on it and say, yeah, exactly what did you expect? So I just figured I don't have to worry. I'm not going to be embarrassed, because if it should come about, I will tell the truth. And that's exactly what I did. I was live one day. He happened to pop in, and lo and behold, what did you know? Exactly. That's right. I made sure I made it loud and clear to the masses. At that point, I think I had 1,000 people viewing my live, and they all know. So I use the truth. I not use the truth, but I use the truth that I'm not, I go ahead and lie. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter when, how, the hows, the whats, or the whys. Eventually, the truth will come out. So you can lie all you want. The truth will come out, which is why I don't lie, because eventually the truth will come out, and it's too exhausting. So the second guy, a friend of mine had said that she knew this guy. I started talking to him. He seemed really great in the beginning, and then he told me, let's go down the list of things. You ready? He told me that he still loved his ex. Okay, so you have unresolved issues with your ex. As time went on, I found that he is stuck in some past trauma that he refuses to help himself out of. Every time that I went to talk to him and encourage him about that, I would be met with belittlement, yelling, screaming, swearing, insults, and that was it. He around the holidays, around a lot of the things that I held near and dear, a lot of the things that coming up, he ended up not being available, being either it that we were not talking, we were yelling, or he was busy, or we were broken up. Yeah, he would dump me via text. Yeah, I know. Why would you want to talk to this guy again? I know. So I did get the confidence to walk away. I started focusing on myself. I started focusing on my PSAs. I started focusing on YouTube. I happened to go into a live back in August, and that's what I do. I live hop when I have downtime. And lo and behold, who would happen to been in that live? I still continue to encourage the person. All the while he was in the live, I congratulated him on his new relationship. After I left. Once their live ended, he called me. We were talking. He told me he wasn't in a relationship with anybody, which I found out later is a lie. Apparently, that's what he calls. He calls the women that he was in a relationship with friend. How do I know this? Well, I have some lovely pictures of. Well, we're getting ahead of the game. So, yeah, he was in a relationship with this woman, and so now he had to break it off with her. He said that he only wanted, according to him, it was only friendship, it was only platonic. She was going to his house in October, and da-da-da-da-da. And I felt uncomfortable about it, but I believed him because the eyes don't lie, right? So I went out and saw him in September. Everything was great, we reconnected because I had seen, we had a relationship already. It was amazing. Went to bed. I fell asleep in his arms, woke up, and he commented, "Thank you, friend," on one of his videos. And I looked at him after just being in bed with him. You called me a friend. It didn't hit me then. Didn't hit me. What was funny, though, is that I had been out to his house. I had been visiting him a few times. Never once did any mail. Now, I've flown out via this, and this. Never once did I get any mail sent to his house in my name, and this woman did. Now the red flag started showing. This woman is now getting mail at his house. Even if it was just a flyer, it was mail. He called me friend again. We had plans for me to go out there in November. And then his birthday came. Do you want to I get it. I sent him something that I know that he would love and enjoy. And not on his birthday because he didn't want anything on his birthday. He didn't want a big to-do, and frankly, it would have, according to him, it would have ticked him off. But then I noticed that a lot of our things that I held near and dear in a long-distance relationship, like good morning, taking the time out to say good morning, taking the time out before bed, just us. No work, no nothing, just him and I, and it stopped. And come to find out, even though I was holding these things near and dear to my heart, it wasn't what was going on. He legitimately made it look like it was that, but that's not what was going on. All the while, he was talking to somebody else. That's the thing that sucks about long-distance relationships right there. The day after his birthday is when he started getting loud, rude, and belligerent to me. He started belittling me, started putting me down. It was getting really bad. It didn't come to full head until, like I said, I put out a sociopath video, and it was only to explain that chauvinistic, materialistic, superficial, none of that. They can be all individual things, but it is not the it's not what made it's not. They can be all of those things and not be a sociopath. What made a sociopath? And I went down the list of things that made the sociopath, and he got offended. He got defensive, and he started yelling at me. At that point, I was to blame for everything wrong on his TikTok, whether his views were low, whether this was happening, whether that was happening. Now, I'm not a huge creator on TikTok, but I'm not a small creator either. I'm a how would you call it, a preteen, so to speak. I don't have the time to skulk and stalk. I have a teenage transgender child who's a senior this year. I also, again, I have family that we have had a passing. And that particular family dynamic has suffered blow after blow. So we're a little bit more on edge with this one. So yeah, we've and these were all used as these were excuses. Things that had happened to me no longer were things that had happened to me in situations and circumstances. They were excuses. He is not and was not a nice person. And I should have realized that he was love bombing me. I truly believed that he was genuine, that in his change, in his growth. I know that I had come very far. I didn't let his words affect me as much as they did previously, and he knew that. Because what they do, these lovely toxic people, what they do is they know that certain things, that you're going to be looking for certain things, that you're going to have your wall up on certain aspects, and you're going to see that red flag. The red flag I didn't see coming was that he actually showed me how much he loved me. He showed me how much he values me this entire time that I've known him. And I'm talking the entire year. He had shown me on one day how he had felt about me the entire time. And that's breaking up with somebody on their birthday. Especially when they had just suffered a loss a few days beforehand. It takes a special kind of toxic, negative, mean person to do something like that and of that caliber. So now that I've said that, and So now I am working on me. I'm working on healing. Because let's face it, even though I still have to do a bit of healing. There you go. Catter's view from the chair.